Record. There we go. Perfect. Right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Lorna Smith. I am a business coach, finance mentor at West Herts ActionCOACH. You'll see that my quote for today, it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. And this is something that has always resonated with me because I'm a massive advocate of personal development and continuous learning. So hopefully I'll be able to give you some of this today. The agenda for today is around what and why is lead generation important, lead generation tactics and strategies, a deeper dive on 2 particular tactics, and then some tips and tools. But the rules of the game for today are that sort of 1 meeting at a time. So if you're here and you're watching the seminar or watching this webinar, then please 100% participation would be amazing. So please feel free to drop messages into the chat box. I'll try and monitor it as best I can. Also raise your hand. And if I ask for any sort of audience participation, then that would be fantastic if you can agree with me. Blinding flashes of the obvious is BFOs. So again, some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, you'll probably have heard of before. You'll probably know an awful lot of these things. However, sometimes the way that people talk about things can be slightly different that actually then resonates with you. So please make sure that you're writing down some of these key things that you'll find important for your business. Any questions or comments, please do pop them in the chat box. I do have the ability to unmute anybody. So if you've got things that you want to say, then please feel free to say them. So do you relate to all of these things? So when thinking about marketing and winning new clients, there are a number of things to think about when looking at all of your different marketing strategies. So under this can come many things. So you've got lead generation, networking, business development, website management, social media, sales, measuring results, campaign results, and a number and multitude of different things. And you're probably, if you're business owners, you are probably doing a number of these things today to yourself. So today I want to talk about what are great lead generation strategies and tactics. And I'm going to go through 4 key lead generation strategies with you today. But first off, I just want to get you thinking a little bit more about your current numbers. So what are your current numbers? And I need you to write this down or take a screenshot of this screen. But the thing I'd like you to think about today is your current position that you're in. So ask yourself these 5 questions. Number 1, what is your current monthly marketing budget? If you don't know this, then give me a call afterwards and we'll have a conversation. Number 2, how many leads do you get per month? Number 3, what or how much is your cost per lead? So it's possibly something that people don't think about an awful lot, but there's probably more cost per lead than you originally think. And how many leads do you require per sale? Where do your leads come from? And it's quite often easier to break this down into a percentage amount, as I have put on this slide for you. So what is the percentage of leads and sales that come from your website, from Facebook, from YouTube, from Google Ads, referrals? Obviously, that's a really key strategy as well. Email marketing, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and anything else that you might use. So these are the things that I want you to start thinking about, because when you're thinking about lead generation strategies and tactics, it's really important to know where you are now and know where you want to get to going forwards. So I'm just going to leave that slide on just for a couple of minutes, just so you can take a screenshot or scribble things down or start to think about these numbers yourself. And do you know what? If you don't know the specifics of these numbers, just take a little guess, just have a little estimate of what you think that these are. Okay, screenshot taken, perfect. And the reason that I want you to know about these numbers is because when we talk about lead generation and how they equate to profits is relatively simple. There are 5 ways that you can increase your profits. Hence, knowing your current numbers is really important. So again, I'm just going to take you back to that page, just a quick screenshot, make sure that you've got that into your brains. So there are 5 levers that you can pull that increase profits when thinking about your numbers. And these are the number of leads, your conversion rate of those leads, the number of transactions, so the number of sales or products that somebody will buy off of you, the average sale value, so the average amount a customer spends with you. And then lastly, your profit margins. And as you can see, just by this example here, just purely with a 10% increase in just the number of leads can get you to a 60,000. If you were starting at 37,500 profits, then a 10% increase will get you to 60,000, which is much more than 10% increase just by changing one of those little levers at the top. So that is what I want you to start thinking about more today. So firstly, what are your current numbers and how do we get you a 10% increase on your number of leads? Okay, moving on. So what is lead generation? So lead generation is the process of identifying prospects, then utilizing a variety of tactics to turn these into new sale opportunities. And I want to just really focus your attention to the picture in the top left-hand corner, which is all around what is known as a lead funnel. And you'll see from this picture that the amount of people in pink at the very top are the public. So these are the people that you're trying to get the attention of, to get drawn into your lead funnel and then filtering down. So the orange people are friends and fans and followers. So they might follow you on Instagram or Facebook. They might be friends with you on LinkedIn. They might be reading some articles that you're posting, or they'll read your blogs. But they're not actually clients of yours yet. But these are, again, really important people to keep in your funnel. You've then got subscribers. So again, somebody who might subscribe to your newsletter or subscribe to something else that you're putting out there. And again, people still in that sales funnel. And then you move down to prospects. So there's actually 3 levels of the lead funnel before you even get somebody into a prospect kind of position. You then move them down to customers. So these are the blue people that are customers or members of your services that you're offering. And then you get your loyal customers and your advocates. And these are the critical people who will continually refer you business. And where you want to move your business to is, rather than having a funnel that looks like this, so you have lots of people coming in at the top and then smaller people coming out of the bottom, not that they're reducing in size, obviously, but I just meant in terms of volume. So your funnel is looking like this. You eventually want your funnel to look like this. You want the people at the bottom, the customers, to be feeding you all of your new prospects and all of your leads purely because you do such a great job with the customers at the bottom that they're always going to continually refer. And then eventually your funnel will start to look like this. So you'll start to need fewer leads coming in at the top because actually your customer base is doing all of that work for you. And that is what lead generation is. So to get people into this top part of your funnel, if your business is at the point where actually you're starting to need lots more people coming in at the top, then you need to know your customer. So you need to know, and your marketing strategy needs to be around what your clients want and what they expect. So lead generation is all about the client. It's not about you, it is about the client. So who are your customers? Who are your perfect customers? Not everybody wants the same. So seek the smallest viable audience and then be really specific. What do they fear? So if they don't have your product or they don't have your service, what are they missing out on? What do they want? If they don't have your product or service, do they really want your product? Find that smallest viable audience, and that is who you need to be doing your marketing and your advertising to. And then sell them a story. Make it fun. Make them be drawn to your business. Sell them a story as to what they are missing out on if they don't have your product or your service. So hook into what they want and what do you have to do to get them into there. Tell a story, sell a story. What change do you want them to make an interest or to show an interest in your product or your service? It's all around your client strategy. So lead generation tactics and strategies. So on this page here, there's a lot of pictures, which I'll talk through. There are a number of lead generation tactics. So these are tactics as regards to not quite strategies yet. We'll move on to that in a minute. So just moving from left to right, we've got newsletters. So these are things that you can send out to your email base. So again, if you're thinking of the lead funnel, you'll probably have some people who subscribe to newsletters. So making those really relevant to them and things that they will want and need. You've then got upcoming events. So run events, run seminars, run networking groups, anything to get your brand and your image and yourself out there. Social media is obviously a really key one, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later. And then I've got on here paid ads. So if it's something that you don't know how to do this, then you can pay people to do your advertising for you on paid ads like Google and Facebook and Instagram. SEO down here on the middle line, and that is again really important. It's something we're going to cover later, and that is all around your website optimization. This little fella here is a chat bot, and you will see more and more of these coming up at the moment. Every time you go on a website, you'll probably get a little box that will pop up in the corner saying, how can I help you? That is something that you can do very easily yourself as well on your website. So again, something to start thinking about. Coupons, discounts, how do you draw people to your website? How do you draw people to your service? Can you offer them a discount for something? Can you give them a coupon? Can you do something just to generate that level of interest? Free trial, hands up those who've done free trials, who've subscribed to things and then never cancelled them. Canva do one for the Canva Pro. I'm thinking Spotify do them. You know, lots of people do this. Is this something that you can start to bring into your business, to subscribe for a free trial of something, just to give them a taster of what you can offer? Email marketing, that's something that happens all the time. Lots of people get lots of email marketing. You can then go old school and go and write letters, which I think people do love to receive letters nowadays because everything is so electronically driven. Postcards, letters, things like that. This middle button here is a call to action button. So when people land on your website, what do you want them to do? It is really important that you guide them and make it very obvious that you either want them to subscribe to a newsletter, or you want them to sign up to something, or you want them to buy your product, you want them to donate to you. So a call to action button is the one key thing you need to make sure is on your website. You can write blogs, white papers, articles, anything, and you can make them gated as well, so that people have to subscribe or they have to give you their email address to be able to get access to all of this lovely free information that you're giving them. So loads of different things there. However, all of these tactics lead to 4 key strategies, and the key strategies are lead capture. So this is strategy number 1, and lead capture is a way to collect information about your target client. And these are email addresses, their own addresses, company information. And the reason you need to capture this level of information is firstly so that you can continue, if you've got the GDPR correct, to send them newsletters, send them information about your events, invite them to follow you on social media, all of these kind of things. If you've got the information there, then that's obviously very easy for you to send all of this wonderful free information out to them. But secondly, it helps you qualify the lead. So you need to know who's coming in at the top of the funnel to be able to then qualify these leads out. Lead magnets. So this is a way to drive prospects to become new leads. So again, promotions, competitions, discounts, free trials, quizzes. And I'll give you lots of tools and tips at the end, but there's something to write down now, which is a website called Outgrow. So I think it's www.outgrow.com. And this is where you can actually create your own automated lead flow by writing these quizzes. So you can set out a number of questions, and I'm sure everyone's filled some of these in before, and then you'll find yourself getting a phone call later down the line from somebody. So you can set out a number of questions, and then it will lead on to the next page, and then you answer another set, or you can write another set of questions which will lead on to the next page. And then at the end of it, you can say, right, this is the recommended product for you. If you want, please phone this line to book in a meeting, or please buy this product now, or whatever. So you can actually do these yourself. And I went through this with a client of mine a couple of weeks ago, and he went away and the next day created one of these automatic lead generation programs, and he got 3 clients by the end of the next day. So he was absolutely overwhelmed by how brilliant this had actually worked. So give that a little Google, just as another little freebie tip from me. Number 3 is lead qualification. So again, thinking about your qualification criteria. So this is all around the likelihood of that person who's come in as a lead, either buying your product or service, but also being the correct type of client for your product or service, because some people aren't, and that is okay. And it's okay to separate these out, just as long as you're upfront with that particular person that's maybe interested in your product or service. If they're not going to be correct for your product or service, then let them know, but also you can let them know an alternative that would be okay for them. And then lead segmentation is the process of segmenting leads from the qualifying criteria. So again, it's segmenting them into all the different products that you might offer, saying, well, these people are going to be good for that one, these people are going to be good for that one, these people are going to be good for that one. And then you can allocate your resources and funds based on all the different segmentation. Again, it's going to be based on the qualification of those leads. So these are your 4 key lead strategies. And the list on the left is all of your key tactics to getting your lead strategies in and correct, and thinking about this big funnel. This one. Perfect. I feel like I'm rambling and rattling. I haven't got any questions in the chat box, so I'm just assuming that everyone is okay. If I can get some thumbs up, then that would be awesome. Some thumbs up. So I know you're all listening. Thanks very much. Right, so again, screenshot list. I'm sure most of you are doing a number of these different things, if not all of them. So thanks very much, Deborah. That's really kind of you. So yeah, just screenshot of this page just to make sure that you've got a list of all these tactics, because again, I'm sure that you're all doing all of these things or some of these things. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not telling you probably something that you don't already know. It's just a case of maybe just aligning some different ways of doing things. The 3 things that I'm going to cover off a little bit more in detail is around social media, optimizing website, and SEO target, sort of to ensure that you're funneling your keywords. So moving on to social media. Well, I kind of feel like a picture tells 1,000 words, so I didn't really want to go into the description of all of these different things. However, again, I'm pretty sure that most people are aware of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, WhatsApp, because there's another way of communicating, possibly not a social media strategy, but definitely a way of communicating with people and creating a community. The hashtag, everyone's hashtagging on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. TikTok is the new one, or it might not be new for too many people, but it's relatively new for me. And the www, so obviously your website. So social media is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information, and through building virtual networks and communities. So by design, social media is internet-based, and it gives users quick electronic communication of content. And the key things that you need to take out of that is that it's quick, it's electronic, and it's all content. So it's all around the content that you are providing to people, making it relevant to your business, but also just to give them lots of information. And there's so much information out there that's free, that's just fantastic. And being part of that is even more key. Chris, in answer to your question, I'm not sure what you want a copy of, but yes, you can have a copy of anything. I'll send everything out after the event, so slides, that's fine. And also you'll get a copy of the recording at the end, so that's perfectly fine, but thank you for your question. So where was I? The whole point of social media is actually building and influencing. So you're wanting to influence people to follow you, you're wanting to influence people to buy from you. So thinking about that, what do people listen to? What do they want to listen about? What do they want to hear? And what do people want to say? And what do you want people to talk about when they're talking about you? So it's about you and how you're influencing people. So converting people to be influencers is about positively impacting people. So everything that you need to do needs to be a positive impact. And they will give you attention if you help them, if you educate them, if you entertain them. So keeping these things at the front of your mind when you're thinking about all of your social media. One key person that obviously came to my mind, especially around the pandemic, was this guy here. So your body coach, who when we went into lockdown, to try and help lots of people, he gave away free sessions every single day. It was like the body coach morning 9 till 9:30 to get everyone up and moving and helping everybody in a massive amount of abundance, which is an amazing amount of time that he'd obviously spent developing these sessions and doing these sessions every single day for people. But if you look at his profile, and this is just his Instagram profile, he's got 4.1 million followers. That is absolutely immense. Now, from that, obviously, more and more people have been signing up to his weight loss program. More and more people have been buying his books. More and more people have been subscribing now to his television channel, because he's now got his own television channel. On the back of that, he's bought out his own branded knives. So anyone can manufacture a knife and get your name put on it. So he's now got his own branded knives of things and cutlery and whatever else. So it's all around the leverage and the influence that he's got and that he's given from his free time that he was building when everyone went into a pandemic, and he's done amazingly well. I'm not saying that you need to start doing aerobics every single morning for everybody, but you know, there is something that you can do with a following. I know a sales coach who calls his community the 59ers, because at 8:59 every single day he goes onto Facebook Live and he does a video of some really good sales tactics, and anybody can follow him. It's all completely free. He does this because he's the best at what he does, but also he just likes to give away a lot of this information, and then people will come to him eventually and afterwards for more advice and things, which fills people into this lead funnel at the top. I love doing this. It's a bit, but anyway. So play, match, game. This is around matching the social media to what you're trying to get across. So Facebook is all around personal interactions and entertainment. And Instagram is client stories. So sharing client stories is absolutely fantastic. Client videos, client testimonials. That's what people are looking for and people wanting to see, because it encourages people to buy that product or buy that service when they're seeing it on Instagram. Pinterest is all around visual stories. So if you've got amazing pictures, amazing videos, share those on Pinterest. Blogs is all around educating and informing people. So if you've got things that you're an expert at, tell everyone, tell people. You know, the more information you can give people, the better brand image that you're getting of your knowledge and your experience and your expertise. And that is fantastic for people to see. LinkedIn. So this is around displaying professional expertise. So if you're wanting to link in with the professional market and get more professional people on board, that's where you go to. Twitter, short, sharp announcements, breaking news. It could be from any seminars that you're running, or from, you know, taking one sentence out of a blog that you've written and just sharing it on Twitter. YouTube is bigger videos. So if you're recording seminars like these, we've got our own YouTube channel, so that will go on our YouTube channel and people can then go and look at it at their own leisure. Snapchat and TikTok is fun, friendly, short, sharp videos that are fun, and then just shows a completely different side of a business. But if you're a young, trendy, fun business, and these are the things that you need to be getting on board with. TikTok is new, it is fun, and it is becoming absolutely massive. So something that people need to start thinking about. So different strategies for growing influence. So I mentioned Facebook Live. So this is interactions with real people. Again, it's very one way, but people can obviously message their likes, or they can message things when you're doing Facebook Live. Using something called StreamYard means that you can invite people to come and present with you. So for instance, you could invite a client and do an interview and interview that client live on Facebook. So that's very interaction. Don't overproduce it. Don't over edit it. Don't overthink it. Be you, be real, be raw, and don't seek perfection, because not everyone's perfect all of the time. Tell a story, ask questions, and get feedback. Instagram stories, again, putting fans, so your client stories is, again, this is all about your clients in front of your audience. So make your clients the center of your content for this. And then the stories can be archived in a highlight reel after the stories disappeared. So they're always going to be on your Instagram page. YouTube videos and channels. So put your videos on YouTube, everyone can then search for things, and 81% of Facebook users are on YouTube, and there's about 1.9 billion watch a billion hours of YouTube videos on the platform last year. So that is absolutely immense and probably something that you need to start thinking about. However, pick your lane. So make sure your posts, videos, and content has a point of view and a clear objective. So rarely can one piece of content serve a dual purpose. Decide what you want to accomplish with your posts. So are you educating them? Are you informing them? Are you selling? Are you trying to generate leads? Are you entertaining? Being all of these things you need to accomplish with your post, and stick to that one lane. So stick to it. And what I mean by that is that quality engagement is key to winning today's social media game. So humanizing your brand and being authentic, but doing every platform sort of okay is less effective than doing one or two remarkably. So if you're really good at Facebook, stick with it. Don't try and do all of the others just because I've been talking about them today, but do those one or two platforms really, really well. And if you don't have time to do them, there are experts out there who can outsource this. Outsourcing social media is really easy and really good thing to do. But the one thing that I will say about social media is that it's all about activity and it's all around being proactive. And if any of you have read Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, then habit number 1 is be proactive. And if you're not being proactive, then you need to start getting on the social media train and doing it, basically. So choosing can be hard. So choosing which platform to focus on. How do you decide this? So watch for engagement spikes and reaction peaks. So if you're doing videos on LinkedIn, if you're doing videos or lives on Facebook, which platform is getting the most attention? If one's getting more attention than the other, then maybe turn off the other platform and just focus on the one that's getting you attention and getting you likes, getting you hits, and getting you people actually responding to your videos or your content. What is your audience saying and responding to? Are you getting people commenting? What are the comments? Start to really think about all of these trends. And again, it goes back to the thing I said at the very beginning, which is around knowing your numbers. So if you're knowing that a number of percentage of your leads are coming from LinkedIn, then stick with it, but post more regularly, give more content, give more value, and just making sure that you're really engaging in that platform. Sending invites out, inviting people for one-to-ones, inviting people for coffee chats. It's really how you're actually then generating the engagement from that particular platform that's going to be key for your business. So like I said here, audit your current results. So number of followers, number of friends, number of likes, average posts per day, number of engagements. So looking at the trends, do your videos get more activity than static posts, or do your static posts get more activity than your videos? So where are most of your potential customers likely to engage? That is also something you need to think about. If you know that none of your customer base are going to be on LinkedIn, then focus your energy somewhere else. Quick tips. So do more videos and posts. So I've got a little fact sheet on videos. So when doing a video, start off by stating a fact or making a statement, and then you add onto that. So you'll add your take to the fact, or you'll add 3 different things. So 3 separate comments that you might want to add onto that fact. Use an example and then close and have a sign off. So my sign off, if you've looked at any of my videos, I think I always say at the end of have a nice day or have a great day, or if you need any more information, call me. That's kind of generally my sign off bit, but I don't think that was on purpose. I think that's just because generally that's what I say to everybody anyway. But have your own, be authentic, make it real, make it you. And then with posts, so this is all around posting regularly, making it interesting, driving engaged traffic to your website, encourage conversation. So if people comment on something, then encourage that conversation, because especially on LinkedIn, the algorithms is all around the engagement that a particular post gets. So the more you can engage people on that particular post, the more people will see it, and then the more people will share it, and it goes on and on and on. So use sentences for a tweet, as I mentioned earlier. You can just take a sentence or a picture and then pop it onto Twitter. A paragraph and image for a Facebook post. So using all of your posts, you can actually have one particular post and then be able to use that on different platforms. Again, if you're not an expert at social media, or it's something that you really want to get on board with, but you genuinely don't have the time, it's really easy to outsource social media. So if you don't know anybody and you want some help with this, then please do give me a call afterwards. I've got a number of people that I can refer you to, so happy to help here as well. So a few tools and things to think about when thinking about social media and also lead generation tech overall. So CRM systems. So have you got a really robust CRM system? There's a few that I've listed here. So you've got HubSpot, Soho, Monday, Pipedrive. You need a CRM system to enable you to create a sales funnel and automate, saving you even more time. So you can create campaigns, you can send it out. It gives you all the statistics. It tells you your click-through rates on email campaigns and posts and everything. So it's really important to get this in place. Creating content. So again, I've put a couple of websites on here. Easel.com, Canva.com, and Canva Pro can create templates, logos, presentations. Your logos can be uploaded. You can then download all of the presentations, and a lot of this is for free. When creating videos, again, it's really important to make sure that you are using a good video function. So you've got Adobe Premiere Rush Slice, which is something you can film the movie and then do lots of editing, which is good. iMovie, Cinema FV5. A lot of these are actually on your phones. You've got Open Camera, which is on Android, which is free. You've got, I think the iMovie is free on your iPhone. So using all of these, you've then got an app which is called Headliner, which turns video to audio. And then you've then got an app which is called Quick, which translates and provides captions for videos. And I've put that this is a must, because quite often people are watching videos and they're doing things on their phone, and they'll probably have the sound off. So if the sound is off and they're watching a video, they're not really going to engage much in it. But if you've got the captions running across your video, they can see what is being said. So actually it might engage them even more. It might go, oh, actually, do you know what? I think that is really relevant to me. I'm going to actually watch and listen to this video. So that's a real must if you're doing videos, to make sure that you're putting the captions on there. StreamYard, as I mentioned before, this is a Facebook live streaming application. It is free, but does require sign up. It enables you to have guests, so more than one person can stream live at the same time, which is really great for interviewing. And then Giphy.com helps you create GIFs for you and your clients to use, which is just a bit of fun. Okay, so on to the importance of your website. Again, any questions? Because I know that I am going really quickly, but I'm just trying to give you as much content as possible in a short space of time while you're eating your lunch. I don't think so. Okay, perfect. I'll crack on. So websites are critically important for the whole process, as all of your lead generation strategies and all of your lead generation tactics are to drive people generally to your website. So if you're driving people to your website and you've spent all of your time doing amazing posts on social media, writing brilliant newsletters, writing fantastic blogs, and you're getting everyone to your website, and then your website is terrible, they're just going to leave. So the whole point of the importance of your website is not only getting people to your website, but also making sure that people stay. So getting people to your website, obviously Google is a way of driving traffic to your website. So what is it that Google wants? Google wants specific things, and it wants users. So you sort of must pay attention to what Google wants, so that everyone can get the best experience from your websites. But how does Google know how good websites truly are? Well, Google wants your website to be secure. It needs your website to be mobile friendly. It needs your website to be well managed. It needs your website to be quick. And it needs your website to have quality, relevant content. And the way that it manages quality relevant content is about click-through ratios. So the more that people click onto your website and stay on your website, and there will be, they know how to time how long people stay on your website for, because obviously they have a buying rate as well. That's what Google wants. So firstly, is your website secure? Google takes security of websites really, really seriously. And it's not just e-commerce sites, which I think was a myth that lots of people thought, well, it's like, okay, well, I don't sell anything. I don't have anything to sell on my website because people can't buy from my website. But that's not the point. When you switch from HTTP to HTTPS, your rankings improve vastly on Google. So it's not just for e-commerce. So again, if this is something that is not your expertise, then employ and engage web developers and web designers who can work on this for you, because it's key to get this correct. And this is what it looks like to a user when a website's not secure. So as a user, if you're going onto a website and you get this that flashes up saying that the website is not fully secure, you're not going to stay on that website. And Google can pick these things up. Who likes seeing this? Yeah, no one. Nobody likes getting this sign when they're trying to load a website. And quite often people think that it's their own signal or their own problem, but it's not. It's actually the website itself. So if you've got a website that does this, then you need to go and see a web developer. Again, if you need some names and numbers of people, I'm happy to provide. It's really, really frustrating when you're just trying to click onto something on your mobile phone. You need to get that right. That's back to the, what does Google want? It wants things to be mobile friendly and it wants things to be fast paced. So if you're getting these things pop up when you're trying to load your web page on your mobile phone, then you need to make sure that that's something that's fixed. So how to get leads to your website? What Google looks for when actually typing into Google. So quick raise of hands, I'm sure. Who's heard of rentinnertia.com? Probably not that many people. Who's heard of TripAdvisor? Most people probably would have heard. Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Most people will have heard of TripAdvisor. So why is it then? This is just a really good example of the fact that most of you probably heard of TripAdvisor and none of you have heard of rentinnertia. I'm not even sure if that's how it's pronounced. However, rentinnertia came up as the top result when Googling 2-bed apartments to rentinnertia, as opposed to TripAdvisor, which everybody's heard of. And this just shows a really good example of actually getting your ranking and your Google searching correct. So it's a better advert. It was a better description. It had a really great click-through rate, and that is the reason why it ranks top of Google's list as opposed to TripAdvisor, which is probably going to be the one that people will have heard of the most. And as we know, quality content is what keeps people on the site. So if somebody had found exactly what it was that they were looking for, they'd gone to this website, they'd booked their apartment in Nerja, I'm going to get that right one day, then Google will rank the website highly purely because the click-through was correct, but also because the content was there that people were looking for. So have a think about this. When people click onto your website, do they buy straight away? Do they subscribe? And do they do what you want them to do when they go onto a website? If somebody comes onto your website and clicks straight off it because the content isn't relative to them, then they're just going to click straight off, and Google knows this. So first off, be found as well is another element. So knowing how many searches are used on the internet to find our products and services. So we need them to understand where you rank for each and every search item. And this is all around your SEO. So this is your search engine optimization. Again, there are experts at this. There are people who can be really, really helpful. And I've given a few tools again at the end to help with this. But just as a quick example, I've done something to my slides. So first off, you need to figure out your keywords. So there are 2 parts to what we call supply and demand. So the demand is a number of people looking over a range of varied searches. And to find this out, you complete a keyword analysis, and you can do this for free. And I'll give you a tool and a website at the end of this, just so that you can go away and do this. So the keyword is really relevant, and what you need to do when you're putting things onto your website and also putting things into your Google ads, if you're using Google ads, is to make sure that those keywords trigger somebody to find your website faster. And then you find out where you rank on each of the searches. So you'll see that I've highlighted someone at the bottom here who their position is 141, and their results page was 15 per page, whereas you want to be up here with being position 1 and finding 1 page per result. So this is all around that supply element. And this was just a quick example that a marketing company gave when working with a client. So their current website had 2,000 potential visits, which generated a total of 6 sales. When they worked on the SEO, it increased their traffic by about 50%. Well, not by about 50%. They knew exactly it increased it by 50%. So they then had 3,000 visitors to their website, which more than doubled the sales to that particular business. So as you can see, getting your SEO correct is really, really key. So just a few sites and marketing platforms. So again, a few little tools for you. There's a company called SEMrush. So they do the SEO, content marketing, competitor research, all the social media, all in one platform. So they have one platform and they do absolutely everything for you. If you want to start learning a little bit more about SEO yourselves, and there's a website called moz.com. This is a real basic beginner's guide to SEO. So if you want to learn more about how to do this yourself, then you can go online to do that. Same with Hootsuite Academy, and the same with WordStream. Again, basics of engine optimization. But this guy, Neil Patel, and I'll pop that in the chat box. I think you can all see that if I pop it into the chat box, but you might want to just let me know. Again, you can go onto his website, and he's got a little box on his website where you can put in your website domain for free, and then you'll get a report on how well your website is running. And so I think that's a really key thing for you, and probably a really good starting place for anybody before they start thinking about SEO. He also has written loads of blogs, and he's got loads and loads of content on there. So a really, really good website for you to have a little look at. Seen something just come into the chat box. Cannot see anything in the chat box. Yep, just posting it now. Bear with me one sec. Can everyone see that? Thumbs up. Not sure you can. Let me try again. How about that? Yeah, perfect. Thanks very much. Excellent. So that was neilpatel.com. Okay, so just to conclude and wrap it up, I'll have got the content done within 45 minutes. Obviously, if people have got questions, and I'll be around for questions afterwards. So to conclude, your key lead strategies are your lead capture, lead magnets, lead qualification, and lead segmentation. So those are the 4 key strategies you need to think about. Choose your tactics. The more visible, the more traffic. Newsletters, social media, blogs, white papers, articles, all of these amazingly good content is going to get you visible. So think of your image and your brand. So all of these things are just getting your image and your brand out there. So whatever it is that you want your image and brand to represent, make sure that that is what is being posted out into the ether. Social media, choose the right format for what you're trying to achieve. If you don't have time for social media, outsource it. It is a really important tactic for people to be using. If you don't have time for it, outsource. It's not expensive and definitely worth the value. Your website, all traffic should point to your website, but have a call to action button. What do you want clients to do when they go to your site? Do they want you to subscribe? Do you want them to sign up? Do you want them to buy? Do you want them to complete a quiz? What do you want them to do? Make sure that that element, that call to action button, is really visible on your website. Make your site visible, findable, and keep people on your site to buy. And this is all around the content that's on your site. Make it quality and make it relevant. Again, hire an expert. I think there's a myth that web developers are really expensive, but it's worth the investment at the front end so that you've got everything all set up correctly. And it's not as expensive as I think people possibly think nowadays. Have a CRM system to automate as much as possible. So again, look into the likes of Zoho, HubSpot. Monday is a really good project management tool as well. So that's a really good one. And again, there are experts who know how to use all of these systems who can help you. So again, if you need any names and numbers, then please do let me know. I have a very big little black book of people. Know your numbers. Where are you now? What do you do now? What is working? What is not? If it's not generating leads, stop. If it is generating leads, then focus more on this to get even more leads. And then finally, be proactive. So set some goals. It's not just a case of, oh, okay, I'm just going to ad hocly post things. It's around how many LinkedIn invites do you want to send a month? How many invites do you want accepting? How many one-to-ones do you want to have from those invites that have been accepted? How many meetings from networking do you want to get? Which means you will need how many email addresses from some of those networking meetings. Now, it's great going to networking meetings, but are you actually doing anything specific to generate leads for your business after that networking meeting? How many times do you walk away from a networking event without getting anyone's email addresses, without actually really engaging with people, especially as a lot of it's over Zoom at the moment? It's hard, but actually just reach out to people, have a target, just say every week, I want to make sure that I'm reaching out to 5 people that I've met at a networking event that I didn't know before. Be really specific with your goals and set them and really go for them. Write them down. So it's all around targets, KPIs. So what does a great performance, what do your key performance indicators look like? What does great look like for you? What stretching target? Give yourself a really stretching target. Get someone to hold you accountable for these goals. This could be a business partner. This could be your home partner. This could be a business coach, because this is what we do day in, day out. We hold people accountable for their goals. Be proactive. The more activity, the more you will be found. So that is it for my actual content presentation. I feel like it was quite a speedy presentation. So obviously, if you've got any questions, then please do feel free to pop them in the chat box. Or if you want to come off mute, then I will happily unmute you and you can ask your question. You will be getting a feedback survey at the end of this. So feedback's really important to us, not just purely on the content, but also if there's anything else that you want us to do seminars on, then we will happily write content for people. Also time of day. Do you want some in the morning? Do you want some in the evenings? You know, these are the kind of feedback that we do really want, as well as just the feedback on this particular seminar. That would be fantastic. Kevin, once leads are generated and qualified, quantified, are there any tips around the human interaction if it isn't online sale? i.e. when an interest in a product or service, for example, let the customer know there will be a callback within a specified period, have access to any questions the customer may have answered on the website. Kevin, you might need to come off mute and just ask that, because I probably need to read that about 20 times to understand what the question is. Once these are generated and qualified, are there any tips around human interaction if it isn't on an online sale? Yeah, absolutely. I guess Kevin, in answer to that question, the more information you give to a particular lead, the better. So if you're saying you will be called within 24 hours, you know, you do need to think about that in your lead funnel. So if that's a particular KPI or a particular target that you want to set yourself, and make sure that it's achievable. So there's no point saying we'll give you a call back within 24 hours and then don't call them back for 48 hours, because all you're going to do is upset that lead person, then they'll probably have gone somewhere else. So give yourself a realistic time scale to give a call back. But yeah, absolutely. The more interaction you have with the person, and people do want human interaction as opposed to online interaction, then the better. But you need to set that as part of your sales process. So if you know that once you've got a lead in and you've qualified it, that you need to phone them within the next day, then make sure that you're writing that down as your sales process, or as part of your sales process, as opposed to part of your lead generation process. Have access to any questions the customer may have answered on the website. So yeah, again, on your website always have a call now button or call for a meeting button, and that's quite a key thing, I think, to making diaries and things open for if people do want to speak to somebody, then they have access to booking a meeting relatively quickly. There's lots of calendar type tools. There's Calendly, which lots of people use, so you can always put that on your email footer. So if people do want to book in a meeting with you directly, then they can just book time in your diary, as opposed to having to try and get hold of you to be able to book time in your diary. But yeah, that's a really good question, so thank you for that, and hopefully I've answered that question for you. If you could just give me a thumbs up or just pop something in the chat box, that'd be handy. Any other questions? I've got more than one chat box going. Deborah, if there's one strategy to focus on first, what would you recommend? Deborah, I think it really depends on the business. But if you're thinking, if you're very new to business and this is very new to you, then your main thing is getting lots of people's information so that you can start to send people newsletters and blogs and start to really focus on building your database. So I think your key thing realistically is all around building a database. That's the biggest thing that you need to do. So I would say that that's the strategy to focus on first, is building a database. As for the tactics that you use to focus on to start building your database, is going to be around your client. So as I said at the very beginning, it's all around your client. So if you know your target market and you know where your target market is going to really hang out, so if most of them are going to hang out on Instagram or Facebook, then that's where you need to spend most of your time. If your target market hangs out more on LinkedIn, then you need to spend most of your time on LinkedIn. But most of it, in terms of one strategy to focus on at the very beginning, is going to be building a database. You want to start building a big database of people that you can outreach to. The more people you have to send newsletters, blogs, email campaigns, letters, all of the tactics that I spoke about, the more people are going to be in that top funnel and the more people are going to know all about you. So I would say that that's probably where I would focus if I was to recommend anything. Has that answered your question? Thumbs up would be great. Any other questions? Thanks, Deborah. Any other questions? Well, I didn't go too far over. I thought I might have gone over a little bit more than the 45 minutes that was specified on the invite. So if we haven't got any other questions, then obviously feel free to leave. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's still raining, so apologies, I haven't made the rain go away, but hopefully I've made you not think about it for 45 minutes at least, and had some nice lunch and learnt a few things. I'll stay online until 1 o'clock. No, sorry, 2 o'clock. So I'll stay online for another couple of minutes. If people want to ask anything else, then I'll be here. If not, then I really hope you have a great rest of the afternoon. Thanks again so much for joining me today, and have a fantastic weekend, everybody. So hopefully the weather will vastly improve, but I think it's highly unlikely. So you can work on your lead generation strategies and tactics over the weekend. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. And the recording will be sent over to you as well. And then you can share it. I should play like leaving music. I think next time I'm going to play music. I did think about it today, but I just didn't quite get around to it. If anyone's got any other questions or they want to come off mute, then just shout. If not, I'll see you all soon. I'm going to stop the recording now, actually. Then we can get that saved.